Hi guys, hope you're doing good. It's me Umair back with another video. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about Deno and I'll be scrapping some categories from Amazon site and these are all the categories and I'm gonna be scrapping these categories from this, right? So we have this package Deno Puppeteer that we're gonna be using. Deno is an awesome technology. First of all, what we need to do is we need to install Deno, and this is the manual of the installation for the Deno. It gives us all the commands for installation of this Deno in Windows, Mac, Linux. So I'm using Mac, so I have just used this command. I have preview installed in my Mac and I just ran it and it installed the latest version of Deno in my system, right? And after that, what we need to do is we need to run it's up to us which browser we need to use. So usually we use the headless Chrome or the main Chrome browser. So we need to run this command in the terminal, right? So it's going to resolve few of the errors that you might face after you starting this importing this Puppeteer module in the Deno file, right? So this is the file that I just installed. If you are using Firefox, you need to run this command in the terminal and hit enter. It's gonna run few of the configurations that will be helpful to avoid few of the errors. Now let's come back to our file. So if you know Deno, you would know that we need to create the TypeScript file and we cannot just create the JS file in Deno. Deno gives us all the flexibility to just import all the packages and just start using it. It doesn't have any package.json file or node modules folder where our dependencies are installed. So first of all, what we need to do is first of all, we need to import this thing, right? So all the packages where we need to use that, we just need to import it in our file, right? So this is how we have imported, and then we need to import. So we are using Puppeteer. We need to have another module. That module is going to be Cheerio module that helps us use the jQuery functions for scraping the data from the DOM manipulation. Like this is the Amazon site, this is the DOM of it, and in order to iterate through its DOM, we need to have jQuery. We can do it directly with the JavaScript functions like document.getElement by ID or something like this, but jQuery is more flexible, right? So I'm gonna be copying and pasting the import line for the Cheerio module, and this is, you just need to pause this video and you can just uh, place it over here. Now what we need to do is we just need to add this URL from where we need to scrap the data. We just need to scrap these categories. So I'm gonna be using, so this, since this is the TypeScript, I'm gonna be using the TypeScript syntax. Oh, so this is where I'm pasting the URL, right? So where all the URLs are set up. Now we need to start working with Puppeteer in order to scrap the data from the Amazon website. So first of all, what we need to do is just add the try catch in, so that anything if goes wrong, we just catch it, right? Now inside the try, let's go back to our Puppeteer file, and this is what it gives us. First we need to launch the Puppeteer using the await, then we need to open up a new browser, then we need to give the URL of the site where we want to scrap the data, right? It gives us an example, but we don't need that. We have already added um, this URL for the Amazon, right? And then we don't need this. We don't want to have a screenshot of the website, but we need to perform some DOM manipulation operations. So I'm just going to copy these 3 lines and I'm going to paste it over here, right? And rather than this thing, I'm just going to add the base URL, and after the base URL I'm going to add an object and wait until network So this is I'm taking from here, right? So just copy it from here, and I'm just going to paste it. Right? So now what we need to do is, in order to get all the content of this URL, this page is going to go to this URL. It's going to detect that what is the DOM of it, this one. It's DOM of it, and for us to actually go through and iterate through the whole DOM, we need to get the HTML of it. And this page variable can give us that whole DOM access. So await page.content. This is the function. It's going to give us the whole content in the form of HTML. So in order to iterate through this whole HTML, we can use the JavaScript objects like document, but I'm going to be using the Cheerio module to have the flexibility of the jQuery, right? So uh, now we need to have this variable, and I'm going to be using Cheerio module and the load the same HTML variable. Now it's going to give me an access of this HTML page, and we can use this jQuery dollar operator in order to perform all the jQuery stuff, right? So first of all, in order to see there is no error, I'm just going to run this file, and in my terminal, what I need to do is just need to use Deno command. Make sure you check out my previous video so you know what are the different permissions we need to add and what are the flags that I'm going to be using. So run flag, I need to use unstable since it requires the network, allow network permission. That's why we need to do it. That's kind of unstable thing. So allow all means that all kinds of permission that this packages require, just allow it. Okay, we can have a specific permissions like the network, writing file, reading file, all kinds of permission we can have. So scrap.ts. I'm just going to run it. So it's running, seems like there is no error, it's working fine. So let's stop it. Now let's proceed further. So this is how we can load the HTML. Now let's move forward, and let's say that I want to store all the text of these categories in an array, right? So, but I want to store it in a separate file. I want this script to create a file, a JSON file like categories.json, and the JSON file should be start off with an object. So I'm going to create an empty object here first. Data any This is an empty object. This is the whole object that's going to be stored in that JSON file, and then I can have the categories array, right? So I'm going to be storing all the categories over here in this categories. Now I need to analyze this DOM of this Amazon.com website, that how it's working. So I need to select few of these properties. So I'm going to start off with this class name nav search dropdown. I think this is unique. First of all, I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it over here and see it's one of three. It means that there are more properties. So it's the part of CSS. So I don't need to care about that. This is an ID nav search dropdown along with the card, and this is the only class that I can use to fetch the data. So this is the class that I can use over here. So first of all, I need to get all the children of this select element, all the options element, right? So if you know jQuery, we can do let children's equals to jQuery operator, and then nav search drop down, and then uh, I have the children function. So then I can have the items dollar, and let me just copy it. Now I want to find all the child elements from it. So option. right? So let me just run the items dot length to see that if it has fetched properly or not. So it's running, and it will be going through that page and going through the DOM, and I've just printed the this length, so it should be like around 30 length. That I think these are the 30 categories over here. So let's wait for some time. Meanwhile, so you can see it has just printed 28. So it means that it has gone through this select element in the DOM and it has found this option tag. So there are 28 option elements within this particular select operator. So we're going good. Now let's fetch these text within these option operators. So uh, I'm going to be using loop. So for let I equals to 0, I less than children's dot length, I plus plus. And inside it, I'm going to create an empty object, and I'm going to be having like items dot eq I dot text. Uh, it's automatically updating things, right? So this text is going to have this items and dot eq and then I operator of it and then the text property of it. Now I'm going to fetch the data categories dot push object, right? So now let me just print this whole data and let's see what happens. Just ignore these lines. There has to be this equal operator, right? So now let me run this file in the terminal and let's see whether we print the data or not. So it's going to take some time. It needs to go to that base URL for this Amazon site, and then it needs to check out the whole DOM within all these classes and find all the options, and then it needs to iterate through all this. So that's so cool. We are now printing all the categories of that site. Um and we have this ready made. Now what we need to do is we need to actually create a file, JSON file categories, and then we can store this whole data in that. So we don't need to do this import anything from here. Usually Node we used to do it using the FS library. So but here Deno automatically gives us a Deno object. So await Deno is something that it gives us dot write text file sync, and inside it we can name the categories anything JSON, and then JSON.stringify data. And after that, one thing that we need to do is we need to stop the browser loading, right? So now let's do it. Keep it logging, but I want it to create a file over here in the same directory where we are at. So it's loading the file. It's gonna go to and iterating through a lot of data. And oh, what is this? The delay node. It needs to be Deno. All right. Let me save it and run it again. You see that it gave the same error, the delay node. I don't know what is it. So it needs to show up all this text, and it needs to create a file categories.json over here in my directory. So before going further, let me explain you one thing. So you know that it has printed and now it has created a categories.json. If I open it up, you can see that it has printed all these categories in the form of text colon and the category name text colon arts, and within these categories. That's so cool. And it has scrapped all the categories of Amazon website, and we have the ready-made scrap data. Uh, I hope you have liked it. One thing I want to mention here that there are a lot of sites out there which are built dynamically. Dynamic sites include the API calls that take some time to load the data. Like in recent world, we use Angular, React, Vue.js, these kinds of technologies to actually uh, build our sites, right? So all these frameworks or libraries serve the websites with the dynamic data. So I have this site example.com, and this is the site that is a static information. It doesn't call an API. Whenever we refresh this page, it will load the data which is built with direct string. Okay, no Ajax calls, no fetch calls, no API calls, no server side calls. So it is a static website. For static websites, we don't need to use Puppeteer module. We can directly use Cheerio module to get the data. So let me give you an example about this. So I'm going to create another file over here. It's just quick. So scrapping.ts. What I'm doing scrap print. So let's keep it like this. I'm going to just copy the Cheerio module from here. Cheerio module only works for static website scrapping. So you don't need to use the Puppeteer module. So in this file, after that, I'm going to copy this whole code uh, like this. So here I need to copy it, this, catch the error and console the error, right? So now I'm going to change the base URL to example.com, right? And inside it, rather than using Puppeteer, I'm going to use fetch call, which is a built-in in JavaScript, you know. So fetch base URL, that's it. And then we have HTML of this site, await response like browser dot text, right? And then we can use the Cheerio module equals to Cheerio dot load HTML, right? And after that, you know, we have this h1 tag. If we want to fetch this example domain, it's directly added in the HTML. There is only one h1 element over here, so we don't need to iterate through or take care about the other h1 tags. So page header equals to h1 dot text, right? And after that, we can just print this out, page header. Now let's run this file and scrap print. So it's going to go to the example.com site and it's going to take the data out and it's going to print this. You can say example domain has been printed in my terminal. If you go over here, it said like example domain. So just like this, we can iterate over to this p tag as well and the second p tag as well. For example, in a way like const page description, and then we can have like eq 0 and then text, right? And then we can have this. If I run it, it's going to print out the description, hopefully, because we have two p tags and second p tag have a. So it's just like learning jQuery. I don't want to go to the jQuery. I've not printed this out, that's why I didn't print, but there is no error that it should have this printed if I just log this out. So I just wanted to give you an idea. If the site is static, no API calls, then you can directly use the Cheerio. It's just a straightforward. This Puppeteer module is only for if the site is built is too big, and obviously if the site is big, that means they must be calling the APIs. So this is how you can write the Puppeteer inside the Deno. Deno is an awesome technology. It's built by the same guy who built Node, and it's improving day by day. There are a lot of modules coming up and adding up in this Deno library technology. So it's a V8 for the TypeScript actually. So V8 engine. So I hope that you have liked my video. If you like it, make sure you subscribe my channel and hit the like button. And at the end, I just want to tell you guys know that we actually provide the development services. If you want us to build any kind of website, hybrid mobile application, any kind of development services, then you can uh, just contact me. I'm going to be giving my email ID in the description of this video. If you want any development services, just connect with me and we'll be providing you all the details for just bring us an idea and we'll be discussing and we'll work together. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.